Everybody, welcome to this week in Brave Exvius with me, your boy Tony Ortiz here, and we're back again for another week of not too much. We've had some eventful weeks in the last few weeks, but this week not too much going on. We do have the new UI, as you can see. Um, right off the top, I will speak about the whole thing with Napi. I talked about it last week, so if you want my take on that, go back to last week's video and check that out. It's basically the whole second half of it. Um, Typically, I don't talk about what's coming the next day. I talk about the week in review. I think a lot of people on YouTube and Twitch do a lot better job of that than I do. Better at the game and so on. So I kind of like try to keep it casual and I bring us a recap perspective. But that one was just so important that I just kind of talked about it last week. And it is what it is. But here we are. So, not too much news yet. We don't know what we're looking at for October yet. I'm assuming that on Tuesday, um, or I'm sorry, we do know what we're looking for on October. Let me pull it up real quick here. I think they told us. Oh, the new UI is so interesting. So, like, now you guys, you can kind of see. While I'm trying to figure out where the news is. Oh, it's down here now. Yeah, we're going to talk about the new UI. But I'm just going to try to find, I think we might have talked about it last week already, but I just want to highlight the October stuff. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. September. I thought we got the October. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't get the October info. Uh, oh, okay. There was a slight update to Clash, so there's this. But I mean, that's already done for everybody. Let's see. Campaigns important, maybe. Letter from the producer, version 705. Okay, so this is kind of weird. Like, we got this, it's telling us about the new UI and so on and so forth, and blah, blah, blah. Other things like that. We'll talk about that in a minute. I was just trying to find, because usually by now we would know what's going on in October, right? They would tell us what the Clash boss's elements are going to be and what the types are going to be. But I don't see that. So I think maybe that's a highlight in and of its own, that we don't have that. I was hoping to have that somewhere and talk about it today, because usually this is what we would know. But even though we're not going to get Clash for another 2 weeks, we would kind of have a heads up. And I just don't see it anywhere. So maybe I'm missing this completely. But, I mean, let me know if I missed it. Oh yeah, Chamber of Arms is reopened. This is really good for new players. If you like, if you're a new player, you can run in here and grab a bunch of free gear. Some of it's really useful, some of it isn't. But when you make a new account, like your biggest actual thing you're gonna be lacking is gear. You won't have stuff to like automatically complete a bunch of TMRs and STMRs. You'll have a little bit, but you have to be really selective about that. So grabbing a bunch of free items, especially now that Vision World is permanently open, or not Vision World, Item World is permanently open, will help you out quite a bit. So yeah, I'm still looking. I can't believe they didn't show us the info for October, but there's nothing in here. So I guess we didn't miss it. It's just not here. Um, wow. Okay. We don't know. Maybe we won't know until next maintenance. Who knows? Okay. Fair enough. Or maybe we'll know tomorrow. Maybe it'll come out after maintenance. We'll have a little message in here talking about October. It's very possible. If that's the case, we'll talk about that next week. All right, so let's back up. Real quick, before we dive into the UI, let's talk about Clash real fast, because that was from last week, of course. I was able to rank 1 Clash of Wills. I did it with this team right here. And you can see there's no Sakiko. So you can absolutely do this. I didn't even have to 130 my Olive, which I probably will, as long as she doesn't get power crept too quickly in the next month or so. Just because I don't see any better candidates to hit with my cactars that are laying around. But yeah, this is an effective strategy. It works really well. If you want the link to this, if you want to kind of review it, you can go back to my last week's video, and in the description I have a link of this strat, which came to us from Lord Sinzar, the goat of content creation in this game. And I just followed his strategy pretty much to the letter. I did not have all the perfect equipment, but I had enough to get to where I wanted to go, which was rank 1. I had to roll a couple times. Variance was pretty unkind in this one. But that's how they head you into the new unit, I guess. Again, as I mentioned last week, I was just worried about Tsukiko getting power crept way quicker than average because of the nature of the way evoke damage works. And that, if we get a clash without her elements as the next one, you literally won't be able to use her because you cannot imbue evokers. You can, but their damage doesn't do the imbued damage. It still just does whatever damage type it is. So, also not as useful when you want to do damage to multiple elements. So, DV might be an issue as well. Yeah, tough one to go for. She's really good, but she might be power corrupt quickly. From what I've been seeing, she also kind of really makes the Chamber of Vengeful boss, which I cannot stand, a little bit easier. But I'm willing to wait on that. So, yeah, I was able to go through this week without pulling for. I did blow a lot of tickets. And now, from now on, we're going to save all of our tickets for Halloween and Nier for the next 3 or 4 weeks because we have not a whole lot going on. We'll go over to the units from this week. Final Fantasy 10-2, 10-2, X2, however you want to say it. Wow. What a weird no buffs to anybody situation this was. Yuna is going to be invalidated by a NVA, I think, in like less than a month, or maybe a little bit longer because of global, because we're doing Nier and Halloween. Berserker Riku ends up being okay, but not worth pulling for. And then Pain is just pretty much completely useless. They're all three on the same banner, which is weird. So that means you can pull your step-ups and such without a card or anything. And you can get to the end. However, you're going to pity Riku, and then you're going to have all these shots to get these other 2 units that you don't want when you want more copies of Riku. So this is a really tough one to even think about going for. If you're a fan of this game, first of all, I'm sorry. For period. And second of all, I'm sorry that the units didn't really get a whole lot in this game either. But you can that's kind of par for the course now. Even the premiums that we're going to get from JP are just not going to slap because we can't use them in Clash of Wills all that much. So it's just one of those things. There's not really much more else to say about that. Daily summonings are still going on. Weekly summonings are still going on. Make sure you hit up these, before the week ticks over. And just before we go into the real thing, which is the UI, I just want to highlight as well that for some odd reason, the fragment shop was refilled. You can see by my lack of VIP coins. I've literally spent 12k VIP coins that I had laying around in the last 2 weeks because Titus and Jack shards are available. Gotta find, where are they? Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Fragment's now separate, so you get to click fragment. Here we go. We'll come back to this. So Olive got refilled. This whole shop got refilled. All these shards got refilled. So I had already bought 3k of Titus shards and 3k of Jack shards, and then they got refilled. So I bought another 3k of Titus shards and another 3k of Jack shards. So I am broke now when it comes to VIP coins. I'm going to have to actually look at grabbing Crest Passes again to get some bonuses to build back up for the stuff that's coming. But everything got refilled to maximum. So I actually had, I think I needed 10 Beach Blaster Olive shards, or I needed 8. I ended up grabbing 2 sets of 5 here. And EX3 my Olive, and then that let me put a different unit into my daily fragment dungeon party. The reason this is 10 again is because they actually refilled Beach Blaster Olive again, the other day. I don't know if this is intentional. No idea how this is happening. I did double check to make sure that it was only Olive, because my Titus and Jack fragments are bought out here, so it was only Olive that got refilled the 3rd time. But hey, bank error in your favor. Log in before maintenance tonight and get some more shards if you didn't notice. Hey, whatever, right? So there that is. So now we'll go to the new UI. And the new UI, I like it a lot in some aspects, and I dislike it in a lot of other aspects. So first things first, when you logged in this week, you got to notice that where it converted all of your pots to currency. Keep in mind, though, that this is not the same for every type of unit. You don't have that for everybody. So if you just take a look at your fusion, you're going to notice that all your TMR and STMR Moogles are still units that you still have a limited inventory for. All of the TMR Moogles that are empty that you get from when you fuse are here. All of your Cactuars are here, your Erasers are here, and so on, and all this. So this is still here. There's probably no way you're ever going to fill up 3K ever again. But you can kind of see I'm going to go all the way down. All these dumb TMR Moogles from units I don't have. All these STMR Moogles from units I don't have that I can't use them on, and so on. Yeah. So that has changed. So all of the money is now, all the money turtles are now an item. So I actually blew a bunch of my gold so we could demonstrate this. I fused a bunch of extra stuff. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to item. There's a sell button somewhere. Okay, just go to items and then, oh yeah, up here at the top, sell. Okay, so you got to click on items first, go on the top sell. And then you can't, unfortunately, search by name. But you're going to basically scroll down your items, and you're going to see your gill snappers in your inventory, like this. So as you can see, if I sell all my gill snapper towers, I'm going to get one, is that a billion? Boom, boom, 100, no, it's 128 million. So that'll get me back up to 260. And then I'm going to sell all these. Right, so your cap, remember, your cap's 500 million gold, so you definitely don't want to go over that. So, but you'll be able to store those items in your inventory and wait, and then replenish as you need from here. So keep that in mind. And then now when you go to awaken a unit, let's just pick this guy. Everything is listed as a as a currency now. It just kind of sits, and you can click the button here. You can hit bulk to like hit all these stats at once. You can max somebody's HP out. It'll use all of your not only doors but all the pots. You can do all that. When you click over to awakening here, you'll see all of these items just sitting as a currency, laying around here, not taking up space. You'll see your current gill. This all looks kind of interesting. I'm not a huge fan of how it is, and you'll even be able to use this stuff here, right? You'll be able to click Trustmaster and click this and fuse that in. You'll be able to do abilities for your EX units. Your EX units will have abilities. Their abilities listed here, same thing. So that's like basically taking the burden off your item inventory completely, and your extra unit inventory. So that's great. But some of this isn't as clean. I'm not a huge fan of how small this is. I'm not a huge fan of how small this typeface is. It's a little harder to see, especially on a smaller screen like you play on your phone and stuff. Even with this on my computer and it taking up most of my screen, it still doesn't look great. To strain your eyes to look at a lot of this stuff, I think like a lot of this stuff should just be like 10 or 20% bigger. There's all this empty space in here. What are we using this for? Absolutely nothing. Why isn't this window dragged out, further and longer and has bigger typeface? Stuff like that. I don't really like the way they did that. You can kind of see that back on the main screen as well. Your energy and rank now are these tiny little numbers up top, and your lapis is tiny little numbers up top you can barely see. And then we've got all the icons the normal size. We've got all this negative space. We've got all this negative space in the bottom down here. Your little banner scrolling down here. But this is just so tiny. So I'm really wondering why they didn't just move all this stuff down a bit. Maybe condense some of these icons together, like calendar or whatever. And then give you like double the space for your energy and all that. But it does look cool. The nameplate is pretty tight. You can click on this little button in the middle, and you can assign a vision card to your home screen. And then if you click on the music, it'll actually play the music for that vision card. Now, I don't have my audio running through the window capture into my PC, but this plays like the Final Fantasy VII rearranged regular boss theme. I don't have any Xenogears music that I enjoy. We only have one card, unfortunately. That's what I kind of want. No Final Fantasy Tactics cards. And the Final Fantasy VI cards we have, none of them really play the music I'm super hype about. So what I'm really hoping is that when we get our Final Fantasy VI rerun of units and we get some of that stuff coming down from JP, that at least one of those units will have a card that plays the normal Final Fantasy VI boss music. That's my favorite. That's what I'll be slapping. But yeah, it's pretty cool. That's a cool item. And then now when you have your team here, they actually do their stance. They don't actually do their attack when you click on them, which is kind of interesting. And then they hold that stance till you click on them again. Just a little bit of a change. I believe you can change this background as well. All these options are in the menu somewhere. nothing really was added on from the JP changes. Just going through them all. Here it is. Here they are. It is what it is. It's cool. I just think there's a lot of things still to be desired. This is step one in the right direction of probably about 5 steps that need to be taken. You can see arena and stuff down here as well now. This is all spread out. And then like how do you get to espers? You click on units. There's now a box for espers. It's just going to take some time to getting used to and so on. But it's not the best. It does fix some things. Does rearrange a couple things in a more intuitive order, but again, like I said, it's less intuitive for like the important stuff like your energy and how much money lapis you have. It's all tiny typeface, and there's a lot of wasted space in this. I don't see why you don't bring all this stuff down a bit. Why don't you bring this up, spread this out a bit more, and then yeah, item world is now 100% open all the time. You can just run it whenever you want. So the only thing that I think will change is this little event stuff will change. So when you get the free items and the bonus items that get the bonus enhancements, that'll probably still continue to change, but the actual item world itself will be open all the time, just like the fragment dungeon is now. So if you get a new piece of gear, you can run it through item world right away and get it some bonuses. That's pretty much everything. Pretty short video today. There's not really much else going on. I could talk about news from next week, but again, I try to avoid that whenever possible, unless there's some kind of crazy issue that's coming out. We have to deal with it. I really try to avoid that. Again, this is just meant to be a recap for people that you work a lot. You only maybe log in once a day. You might have missed something. You don't have time to watch a 30 to 50-minute news video. Sometimes mine go way longer as well. But I try to get everything up front and dialed in, with my notes to let you know what's going on right away. And so you can assimilate that information. And then if you don't want to watch any of the detailed stuff at the end, you don't have to. I could do a clash clear real quick, but I'm just going to link the video again from Sinzar one more time, so you can go watch that. Basically, my run went the exact same, except my variance rolls are a little worse. And Magnus took a little bit more damage because I didn't have as good a defensive gear options. But yeah, I'm really glad that he made that so that I was able to get rank 1. I don't much care about the Xenostone right now. I know we're going to get another item probably on the next clash. I'm not confident that it's going to be one that's going to have to be like a full rerun through. I think they gave us the rings for a reason, to let people catch up, and I think they're going to take one more 3-month period to let people catch up. So I think we might get like a second robe, maybe even a third ring is possible. And I think the reason they want to give us that, and not like bury us with another item, is those people that came back from Anniversary, they've never done Clash before. They're doing their Clash stuff. Maybe they're not rank 1ing. Maybe they're finishing in the top couple thousand, and they're getting enough Xenostone per event to like slowly build up their item. Maybe they have a Dancer's Crown by now. Maybe they've got one Magister ring about to complete with the next thing. I think they don't want to bury people with another item. And I think they also want us to have a couple more items to be able to try out some different stuff. So right now, you're pretty much using either double Magister robe and then 2 unique rings. So Magister robe and helm, and then 2 unique rings, or you're using Ruler's helm and robe, and then you're using double Magister ring, and everybody's using the Dancer Crown because it's just too good. So I'm thinking maybe then what they might do, honestly, is another robe or another crown, since those seem to be like the most universal. Like nobody, or even another helm. Helm is just more limited because of who can wear it. But I could see another helm, but it has the properties of the crown. So that's something I think you might see as well. You might see them give us another crown or another helm, but then have the enhancements available from the other piece of gear. So the crown will have, it'll be a hat piece, but it'll have all the abilities and upgrades from the helm that the helm has access to, or vice versa. Or maybe we get both. Who knows? I mean, that's probably asking for too much, but I think that's what we'll see. Or again, we'll see a third ring. And what that third ring will really do is it'll let you use one of the non-Magister rings, or it'll give you access to a Magister ring if you're using 2 of the different unique rings and you're using Magister helm and Magister robe. So I think that's what we'll see. I don't think we're going to get a new piece of gear. So again, I'm not really worried about the Xenostone, but I'm really glad that I was able to rank 1 this, because rank 1ing it is a lot of lapis for free, and that's really essential for keeping the game affordable and stuff like that, and we're always looking to make things more affordable because, hey, working class people, we're getting screwed right now. Let's be honest, from every direction, and we want to patronize our favorite games and stuff like that, and I can't spend the money on this game. It's a little too rich. Those premium prices are kind of rough. I'm dreading that Xenogears will be premium again when we get it again. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, you always have to be wary. And with the Napi thing again, like you can clearly see that they are testing the waters with how much they can push how us to waste our lapis, and that's just really a discouraging thing. So hopefully they learn from this. Hopefully we won't see anything like that again. Hopefully they will definitely not do it to a fan created unit, which is has even more implications than a regular global unit that they've created. Really sours something that should be enjoyed by the community. So hopefully they will learn from this and move on. Yeah, and that's it for this week. So on Sunday, I'm not really sure what we're gonna do since everything's gonna be closed. We're not gonna have a DV, no Vision World. It's just a week of nothing. We're getting a raid, I think, and that's it. So Sunday we probably will just casually talk a little bit about what's going on, and then we'll play some different games. We'll play, I don't know, Final Fantasy IV maybe, Link to the Past potentially. I've got a couple other games laying around. I've got Star Wars, the old Jedi Fallen Order, and the Squadrons game. I haven't touched either one of those. Maybe I'll boot one of those up. Yeah, let my Final Fantasy 14 subscription expire because there was just nothing to do in the game. Without the relic weapons in the game to farm, it really turns out there was not a whole lot to do. So I kind of just wasted a month of doing the new raids, and I didn't really enjoy them. I thought they were pretty lame and actually poorly made. Like they definitely did not have the amount of telegraphs and stuff that I would expect for a pubbing content. I would expect the Savage ones to be much harder, but the regular ones I thought were just not fun because they didn't give you the opportunity to really learn them as you played without getting punished horrifically for learning. And it's a weird design choice, and I've not been a big fan of the design choice in general for the last Final Fantasy 14 expansion. But I'm sure we'll revisit that at some point when relic weapons come. We'll see. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Throw them on the comments. Throw them in the Discord. Join us live on Twitch, of course, when this is streaming every Wednesday night. Just due to the nature of my work, I can't lock in a specific time, but we post a video as soon as it's done, and it exports every week. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Sunday, and take care.